Yeah, you got.
Oh, mate, it has to be done.
Yeah, definitely.
A fucking big canvas. Wait.
I'll take it. Wait, what are you trying to say?
Right, we are live.
I'm taking the one down to the kids.
Putting that one up.
Yeah, putting that one up.
Right, boys. We are live. Lions TV, welcome to your post-match analysis live of yesterday's 1-1 draw away at West Bromwich Albion, of course. Bad me, shame on me. I wasn't there yesterday. I wasn't there yesterday. So the other boys were. So we're gonna talk through it. A little bit of a review of what's happened so far in the season as well, boys. Kenneth, Joseph, thanks for joining us.
As always, a pleasure.
I'm just looking at some of the comments. I'm getting absolutely hammered already, but there you go. It is what it is. Right, boys. Yesterday, first and foremost, an all-round good day.
I'd say so. Apart from didn't have the best of starts. The main train that everyone was booked on from Euston got cancelled, but we managed to get on an earlier one and was up there by 10:30. Thought, flipping hell, got a lot of time to kill here. So a few beers were sunk beforehand.
Where'd you go? Square Peg?
Yeah.
And Ken, I assume you had a stinker as well, because I know you drove up.
Yeah, I had an absolute nightmare. So I think it took me overall about 4 hours to get up there.
Oh, flipping hell.
Just in and out of traffic constantly. Stop, start. The good thing is I leave 2 hours before the game starts, if that makes sense. So I aim to get to anywhere for 1 o'clock.
You went from where you live, which is down in Kent, to Lakeside to pick Danny up, and then on to the game.
Yeah.
Some serious miles, mate. I also did some serious miles yesterday. I had to go to work in the end. I had tickets for a musical. I had to cancel it. I had to rearrange it. And I had to go to Chester races, but via the Cotswolds. So I left there yesterday morning. I got up at 4:15 in the morning, drove to the Cotswolds, got there for 7, had a shower, went on to Chester races. I got home back here last night at 12:15, or 12:15 this morning. So I had a
long old day.
And I knew I said it in my preview. Did anyone have 1-1, by the way? Did either of you two have 1-1?
Nah.
Not a chance. That's a 3-0.
Well, I knew it was going to be a good one. I just knew it because I was going to miss it. And it was. It's just sorry. That's why I laughed. When you said you had a long day, I was doing that. I wasn't celebrating that. I was celebrating that my youngest son's in the chat. Fraser Goodwin, how are you, boy? He said it 1-1 draw. That's right, Fraser. 1-1 draw. Yes, Fraser, yeah. What's his YouTube picture? I can't see it. So, hello, Fraser. How are you, son? I see you Friday. And 1-1 draw, boys. Was we expecting that? What did you predict, you two?
Nah, not at all. I said we'd lose 3-0.
Okay.
So I was more than happy with that.
I'm backing myself a little bit here because in my pre-match I said that I think that our squad is a lot better than what we give it credit for. I then did say, however, I don't think we're going to get anything out of the game, but I think it'll be a lot tighter than people think, and I think we'll just lose it 2-1. So, but I'll tell you now, Dan, if you gave me the opportunity to change my mind on that after 15 minutes, I would have done.
Yeah, well, I watched the highlights. I've heard from a few sources, we probably should have won it, despite them missing a penalty, which we'll get into. But was we the better side? Should we have won it?
I think so. I think that, overall, if you average it over a season, you definitely say that West Bromwich Albion are by far a better side than ours. Oh, however, in them 90 minutes, I think that we actually dragged West Brom down to our style of play. And I don't think they could handle it that well, and we could do it better. And overall, over 90 minutes, I think we had the making of them.
Interesting you say that, because 5 o'clock today, it was on Sky for 50. It's showing all the highlights, but it's like a little bit of an extended one. And the interview with Rowett after, and he said, without saying what you said, he sort of said something similar. He said, "We've played teams now. We played well 2 games in a row. Next time we're going to have to play well again against another team in Swansea that want to pop the ball. Your best mate, your broski, your bromance, as well as Danny, Matt Smith, played yesterday, started. And when he does that, we go more direct. Joe, did you notice he's more direct yesterday? Did you think Rowett's waking up to the coffee a bit? I think pop as well as other teams can.
I think when you've got they had a couple of big centre backs. As you see, they got the goal from one of their centre backs. So I think in a game like that against a good team like West Brom, I think you do need Matt Smith up there just to get about their defence a bit, rough them up, and so I think that was the right call starting him. Obviously, was a Phobie injured, so we didn't really have much choice, to be fair. But when you are playing a team up there like West Brom, I think you got to do that. We just got to play direct against them, because otherwise they'll just rip us apart.
Did he play the 90, Smith?
I think he did. You know,
I can't remember, to be honest.
I think
he did, yeah.
Yeah, because I'll tell you why I think he did. Because after with 15 minutes to go, I turned around. Someone turned around and said, take Matt Smith off. And the problem is you can't, because they were using the long throw a lot. They were doing a lot of long throwing into the box,
getting the old towel out.
Yeah, and they were. Yeah, it's someone like Matt Smith that you need there, because ideally you would have stuck, say, Bradshaw on or someone like that to whiz around the back line. Dan, honestly, our counter-attack was ridiculous at times.
What, good?
Oh, it was ridiculously
good. I noticed that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, there was a couple of times when, I think it was Scott Malone went banging down the line and he chucked it across. We just couldn't finish. We were open, weren't we?
It does sound a lot more positive from yesterday.
Yeah.
That's one thing I usually really focus on, our counter-attack. I say, especially the last few games this season, I say, we are so slow to counter-attack. We start going and then we stop or drag it back. But, I said at the end of the game, we looked quite good on the counter-attack yesterday. You had Malone bombing forward, Jed bombing forward, Shea Ojo as well. I don't think he was involved that much in the first half, but we see a bit more of him in the second half, sort of carrying the ball. And he could be that difference. He could inject that bit of pace going forward, especially when we're on the counter-attack. Someone like that will pick the ball up and just run. None of this sort of stopping and pulling.
Yeah, you're right. You say, Joe. You say,
I thought he done well, and that could be.
Yeah, sorry, but the two things is the counter attack. The two things is one, a lack of pace, and two, a lack of quality. We'll find for the final, won't it? But looking at 100%. Earlier, talking of sort of not a counter attack, but a chance we had. First one I saw was they did this twice in the game. Steve said this. Look. We'll talk about the first half first. Yeah. So when they didn't sort of get their back pass in, Jed comes in, he shoots, he's got to shoot, but looking at the highlights, Scott Malone was bombing up with him. If he'd have squared that, it's a tap-in.
Yeah. I think it's a moment thing, innit? I think, I think to be honest, if I was Jed Wallace, I would have done exactly the same.
Yeah.
And it's easy to look at, turn around and go, Scott Malone was sat there next to him. And you know what? We usually say that he can be quite selfish, Jed Wallace. I think in that situation he has to be. And there's been plenty of times he makes the wrong decision sometimes and passes it and no one's there. When he should have had a shot. If he'd passed that and it hadn't got to Malone, we would have all been saying you should have had a shot.
You should have shot, 100%.
Yeah.
Can't win in that situation. Let's look at the starting 11. Sorry, I overlooked that one. So there was a starting 11. Bart, of course, in goal. We're going to get on to shortly because me and you have been critical of him, Ken, but it seems like he's back on song yesterday. Ballard's just on fire, back three. Still no Hutch in there as well, by the way. Malone left wing back, Billy Mitch filling in at right wing back. Keefton Beld. A lot of people saying MOM yesterday, but he conceded a penalty. Was it a penalty? We'll get on to that. Saville, for me, the elusive George. It's not sure how he did. And the front three, of course, a Phobie would have been. And I think a Phobie for Smith there is not only a change of player, I think it's a complete change in the way we play as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
100%.
First, we've got a problem with injuries. I said this to my mate on the phone earlier. You would say, Bart's our goalkeeper, our main centre half is Hutchinson, our main centre midfielder is Keefton Beld, and Jed's our main man. But if you had to say who's our main striker, we've got a lot of strikers with separate attributes, but we ain't got really one complete package of a striker, have we? And I think, Ken, that's why you said, I bet he plays, if Phobie's injured, which we heard a rumour he might be, you said, I bet Bradshaw plays to stick with a system, but he went with a big dog, didn't he? Yeah,
definitely. I think it did work in essence. I think you still need, other than Matt Smith as a defensive role, if that makes sense, helping us defend. I don't see what necessarily he offers in that 3 other than the flick-ons, which is something we didn't really do much of. So in my opinion, I reckon Matt Smith was put more on for defensive duties than attacking. I know that sounds really stupid, but the throw-ins, the corners, etc. He was very much involved in them.
Especially towards the end of the game, that's probably why he's kept him on for the 90 minutes, because you're thinking it works both ways. Like, say we managed to get the ball up the field late on, you got Smith there attacking, but also defending. You want to keep tight at the back, and as Kenny said, they had all them long throws, and if you got Smith in the box there, it's good on the defending side as well. So yeah,
decent. So the chance I saw on the highlights was the one I said where Jed shot. A lot of people were saying, if you've got an eye for goal like Jed has, you're a main man, you shoot. You can't mind him for shooting then when, we don't mind him shooting from bending in free kicks from 30 yards, do we? So before their penalty, that was the next incident I saw. What else happened in between then, Joe? Anything of note or anyone standing out for you in that first half?
First half, I think we started to come alive a bit in the second half. No one really sort of stood out for me in the first half. I think it was one of those where first half West Brom had a lot of possession, but weren't really doing anything with it. And I said in the post-match analysis yesterday, I just think I think the defence was outstanding yesterday. Everything that sort of got thrown our way, especially with them long throws, other set pieces they had, we were just getting it straight out. So, but yeah, we had that one-on-one, Jed's one, which you spoke about. But other than that, I don't really remember too much in the first half up until the penalty, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I think what you're saying there, Joe, is right as well. I think if teams pop us to death and knock little balls in pockets, like I've noticed with a few teams last season, Bournemouth at home especially, they popped us to death. We've got quite big, lumpy defenders. And I think if you try and have a physical battle with our defenders, you're going to have a tough time with it, aren't you?
Yeah. But have you noticed, though, the only thing I would say, when we come up against teams that have got other big defenders, just as big as ours, you see what happened at Cardiff.
Yeah.
Aidan Flint got 2 goals, didn't he? Their centre-back scored again yesterday. That's the only difficult bit where we are challenging defence when we come up against a defence that's just as big as ours.
No, physical. Yeah, it's not often we get out muscled, is it? So let's move on to the penalty then, because I've speaking to you two, but I spoke to a mate earlier, and he actually said it was one of the worst first halves of football we've ever seen. He said not really.
Yeah.
The penalty, was it? I mean, again, a lot of people saying Keith DeMille man of the match, and I said, but he conceded the penalty. A lot of people saying, yeah, it wasn't a penalty though. I've looked today. He swipes a foot. He doesn't lean on the bloke. He doesn't really make a lot of physical contact. Just a sort of swipe of a foot. I'm still not sure if it was a penalty, boys. Ken?
I think that 9 out of 10 referees would give that as a pen. I was right in front of it. And don't get me wrong, it happened so quick. It really did happen so quick. I'm waiting for a corner to go in, so I'm looking at the box, and the next thing you know, he's stuck a decent through ball. You're probably better off asking Joe, because Joe was probably further up, could see more of it. But yeah, all of a sudden, all I saw was the tackle and the foul. I didn't hear a connection, but I would have given it. If I was a ref, I would have given it.
Yeah.
And he's a tricky little player at the end.
Yeah. We was right at the top at the back, and I think at the time I was standing there with Connor and Kieran, all 3 of us just went, yeah, it's a pen. Like, I've seen a couple of the replays, but even in the replays, it's not the best angle. But yeah, none of us had any complaints at the time, so we just went, typical, here we go.
Oh no, I've got the notification. It's like 44 + 1 penalty. I thought it's never a good time to concede football, is there? No. But that can change. My explanation for saying that's the worst time to concede in football is the manager will have a game plan for the second half and a team talk mapped out, and that team talk, everything's got to change. Then he's got 30 seconds to change it, isn't he?
Do you know what the worst thing is? Do you know what the worst thing is about some of these games, right? Especially the away ones and yesterday? It's like 42nd minute or so, someone behind me goes, oh yeah, I'll take 0-0 half time, and I'm thinking, you put a curse on that. And then the penalty came, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, should know Millwall better.
Luckily.
Well, luckily, the big man, Ken, we've criticised him. I've had George, look, we've got George Long lined up, haven't we? Ready for next season. And
Yeah.
I think Bart's been brilliant, and I don't think he's ever had a bad spell. I would arguably, I would say he's had a shaky start to the season. I guess he's right. Good penalty, not great penalty, but he can only save what's thrown at him, and he did save it.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really authoritative save as well, in my opinion. I mean, he really threw himself for that. I'm still going to stand by that when he's on his own, standing in that box, he looks like a 75-year-old man. And even when the
what's he doing? Eating Werther's original? Why is it the guy?
Yeah, I love a Werther's original. Even when you'll notice, I just know he's fragile because I mean, even when the boys go up to celebrate with him, I don't know if you notice, he's like that.
Yeah, it made me laugh that celebration. I watched it back, and they all run in, and Billy Mitchell just runs up, and just fucking pushes him with two hands.
Yeah.
Like when he's so much up, just goes like, "Fuck!" I pushes him, and it's strange celebration. Fair enough.
I have to say this just to cover myself. Like he had a superb game yesterday. He made some really important saves, and he must just be one of these people that he just sort of dawdles about, almost as if he's thinking about what he's going to have for dinner, and then all of a sudden a penalty comes, pops, he goes for it, and he makes an incredible save.
Yeah, he's he is a big moment. Well, I suppose in goal you are a big moment player, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? There's no point. Say otherwise you're up the other end doing your stretches and just trying to stay focused. But great save, and that's my mate who was with me said, "Oh, that's like scoring a goal, isn't it?" I said, "It's actually better than scoring a goal because we've conceded, didn't you?"
We celebrated like we scored.
Yeah.
He was next to the away fans, Joe, as well. I bet you enjoyed that one, didn't you?
Oh, mate. Honestly, brilliant.
Yeah, less said about that.
Yeah, I think that penalty save as well, I was just going to say, without taking anything away from Bart, I think it was one of them where it was at the right height for the keeper. It was, yeah. See them ones. It weren't too low, weren't high up. So all he needed to do was get across, guess right, and he's got it. But, I'll tell you what was impressive, though, Joe. I'm going to have to say this because I agree with you on the basis of right height. But if you watch the penalty again, it actually rises that shot, and he does have to change his arms. He does have to change his arms. Yeah, and in that split second, that's a very difficult thing to do. Yeah, true.
And so that's the reason why I think it was a really good save, is because, like I say, if you watch his arms, he has to adjust them to get to that height, because I think he was going bottom.
Mm.
I'm trying to think of other penalties he had to save, and what one sticks out to me, which was similar to that. Did he save one from Ivan Toney at Brentford? Very similar to that, a couple of years ago. Steve Lees will be able to tell us.
I think you might be right.
If you don't know, Steve Lees.
Super Steve. Steve will help us. Mark Paris, thank you very much, mate, for your donation. Very much appreciated. Evening Char, how are you? Joshua Bond, row it out. By the way, just before we move on to the comment I want to discuss, Bart drives a Honda Jazz. What about that?
Legends.
Craig Robson says, thoughts on Sav's start to the season. So I do want to cover every player. That one intrigues me massively. But before that, half-time thoughts I've got written down here. What did you expect? We know what you expected going into the game. You said 3-0 to West Brom, Joe. I said we'd win 1-0. Kenny said we would lose 2-1, but we'd give a good performance. So you was probably closest, Ken. Had your ambitions and expectations changed at half-time? What was your thoughts at half-time going into the second half on reflection of the first 45?
100%. Go on, Ken. Go on.
I think, do you know what? It had the making, and I think I put in the WhatsApp group, what an away day. It was. I just felt like everything was good. And I was happy with everything. And I me, I don't feel like that very often. I couldn't find anything to moan about apart from I had a warm beer. But I just think that at half time, especially, I was buzzing. I was absolutely buzzing. I mean, I went out for a cigarette, and I'm like, I cannot wait for the second half to start. Just ready to go. And I honestly thought we'd nick it. I thought we'd nick it comfortably. I honestly did.
Yeah, you going in that second half there, you was more than confident. Sorry, Millwall Tube. Shout out to Millwall Tube. How are you, mate? It was Ollie Watkins' penalty. That's when we lost 3-2, yeah.
Yeah,
I watched a bit of your vlog earlier, mate. Was I watching it? Was my boy watching it? Good, though. Check out the Millwall Tube's vlog from yesterday. He got to go on, and he passed 1,000 subscribers in the week. So well done, mate. Crack on. Joe, yeah, what was your thoughts half-time? More confident going into the game, surely?
Oh, mate, 100%. I went completely opposite. It was just little things like that. And it sounds really strange, but I said to the boys, I said, usually at most of the away games I've been to, we used to, they switch it round. So we're attacking our own fans in the first half. Usually they always switch it round like that. So I said, right, we're attacking our own fans second half. We had that penalty save. At halftime, I went, this has got the making of us to score a last-minute winner in front of our fans here. So I thought it was going to go like that. And then, not long after our time,
Kenny would have been doing this pose, but topless.
Oh, mate, yeah.
Oh, mate, that is going up on my wall. In fact, no, I'm going to get it blown up. I'm going to put it here in place of the mirror.
So yeah, you don't have to keep looking at yourself in the mirror. You can just look at the picture of yourself instead.
Exactly. Yeah, and when I speak to you lot, you can have a double vision.
This is an interesting one. Sparky said the ref should have told them to liven up with their throw-ons. Was they wasting a bit of time?
I don't know. I think the ref had a good game, to be honest. I think the last two games we've had decent refs.
Like Blackpool, fucking hell.
Yeah, I know.
How's that listed, by the way? Fucking Fulham lost to Blackpool.
Yeah, I think this shows that in this league, anyone can beat anyone.
Yeah,
it's one of the most exciting leagues in the world, in my opinion.
Simon Wood says,
100%.
"Roll it out, Volta Sampaio in." If you're not a regular to the live streams, you won't know what the fuck that is about. So the second half starts. I'm sort of checking the racing, checking the phone, trying to do my job at the same time as well, by the way, and straight away they scored, and they early in the second half. A corner comes in, it's cleared away, comes back. I don't think you can pinpoint anyone. I think it's a good header. But it's a lot of goals in that fashion. And he had a lot of time to get his crossing, didn't he, unchallenged as well. Yeah,
I think me and Joe spoke about this after the game, actually. We said, do you know what, actually, it was a great finish. And I don't think any keeper is going to be saving it. I know we're obviously going to go on to players, but I think Jake Cooper was on him. Was meant to be marking him.
Yeah,
and he was nowhere to be seen. So, if you're going to lose your man like that and then manage to stick it on your nut and put it in the top corner, then fair play to you. I weren't necessarily disappointed that we conceded that. It's really weird. This is what I say about all the emotions that we had yesterday. I weren't absolutely gutted. I was almost happy that if we were going to concede, we're going to concede in the second minute of the second half. Knowing, like you said, Joe, we're going to be attacking our end. And it was almost right, okay, they've done their business now. Now it's our turn.
It's really interesting you say that, Ken, right? Because I was thinking about this. And, we ain't over the moon without it, okay? And we ain't the team that can go and get a 3-0 lead against teams. Name me a better team in our division that can go 1-0 down. If you had to back one team in our division, put your money on one team that can go 1-0 down and get an equaliser. It's us without an absolute doubt, Joe, isn't it?
Sorry, I didn't get that. It broke up a bit.
I said, like, if you had to back one team in the championship that's got the ability to go 1-0 down and come back and equalise, it's got to be us, surely. Yeah, okay, we don't go in a 3-0 leads. We always struggle to maintain the lead as well. But coming from 1-0 down, we've got to be the fucking masters of it.
Because we don't start playing until we go 1-0 down.
But why, though? I don't
get
it.
100%. We don't start playing until we go 1-0 down. It's like we wait to concede and then go, right, let's step it up a gear now. But I don't know why we just never seem to do it from the start, do we? We never seem to start these games on the front foot. But as soon as we concede, it sort of like gives us a wake-up call, and then they up the levels a bit. But just why can't we do that from the start?
I think what you have, Joe, is you have Raul is so stubborn in his ways that he's no longer proactive. So the only thing he actually has now is to be reactive. So this is what I'm doing with
so
my team. Yeah, and this is how I'm starting it. I might change the players a little bit, get the crowd up, a little bit G'd up. But if something goes wrong, then I'll turn the tap a little bit and let the boys go. I honestly think that's what happens.
But so is he not?
Seems that way.
If you can score a goal, you can score a goal. Or does he think that West Brom are going to pop the ball, well defend? He thinks maybe if it's 0-0 and we go after West Brom, they'll pick us off. I don't know. Because West Brom ain't the sort of side. I mean, fuck me, they beat Sheffield United 4-0 at home, didn't they? They're not going to score one and then sit back. So I don't think their game plan changed.
I don't think they looked at the races, to be honest, Saturday. I don't think they were.
West Brom, they randomly, ironically, they ended up going top as well, didn't they? Because
that's right. Yeah.
Sorry, go on, mate. Need to. Charles, sorry, mate. I was away for 9 days. Come back, worked at the NTA Awards or the after party, and then went to fucking Chester. So I'm catching up on messages this week. Steve, this guy knows everything. Penalty save was from Ollie Watkins, 24th minute for Brentford. And he also saved a penalty against Rotherham, 2nd of April 2021. I don't remember that one. So has Bart ever conceded a penalty in a Millwall shirt? Because that's 3 saves from 3 penalties. That's your next job, Steve. Sorry, Ken.
I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying?
You love Rowett and his ways.
That has been reactive.
Yeah, that's it. I just think he is quite right. You know my opinion on Rowett. Nothing changes. I don't think he's the manager for us. I think nearly every single player that we've got in that squad is good enough for us to be challenging for top 6 this season. And I honestly don't think we do it with Rowett in charge. Just because we've gone to West Brom and had a good performance. Let's be honest, Blackpool weren't that great.
No, that was horrific.
Tactically, Rowett got it wrong in that game, especially when they went down to 10 men, and we managed to scrape a result out of that. And I think that West Brom weren't necessarily up on their game yesterday, and I think we.
But do you think it's because at the same time, they might have not been on their game, but I think we limited them. I think what we done limited them to not be able to get that step up.
And that is with the formation that he's done. So the formation that he uses every week, I think that he should only be using when we play away, because it works. It does work. But like I say, when you go home and you're playing Blackpool and they're down to 10 men, you got to go for it. You got to go for it.
Yeah, 100%.
Very interesting one, Joe. And I agree with, what Kenny said. West Brom weren't at it, and I was considering. In my head, I thought what you said. Well, did we not allow them to be at it? Was we intense?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was exactly it.
Another interesting one is people saying and we'll look into this later. We've absolutely got to beat Coventry, mate. They're flying. They're in the top 6. So there is no easy games in this division. And as you two were talking, I wasn't being rude. I was looking at the results. So we've not lost since the Cardiff game. So there has been a reaction. Okay, one of them was against Cambridge. Of course, last time out, 4 points from our last 2 games. So we'll get onto the league table again later as well. But it's got to go down as a good point. However, I feel that those types of games, and I see the thing what's the little thing that someone made where Gary Wright's doing that, and it's like a Gary Wright masterclass.
Oh, yeah.
Those games suit Rowett. They suit Rowett's style. Away at a top side, trying to defend and nick something.
Yep.
Rowett's problem is when you go, right, go and win that game convincingly. So I think, yes, it was a good point, yes. And he can't do any more than he's done, but that is his perfect type of game for me.
I think so. Yeah, I think you hit the nail. I think you've hit the nail on the head there.
I think
so. But it's like as if we go into the way we set up yesterday. It's like we go into that even in home games, as Kenny said, and I don't think that is the right way to approach home games when you're playing Blackpool. Do you know what I mean? But it's like we set up the same for every game. It doesn't seem to change. Fair enough. what that system, it worked yesterday. It might work in some games, but it's not going to work every single game. But we still seem to approach every single game in that manner, same way.
So then my argument would be Rowett's, when people say Rowett sets up to play opposition, I wouldn't say he does. I would say he sets up to what he thinks our players' capabilities are.
Yeah.
And you can.
Yeah, I'd say that, but I think he's completely...
To Blackpool, to Cardiff, to yesterday, he's going, like Joe said, exactly the same in every game.
Yep.
So he's not thinking, what can we do different? He's thinking, this is what my players can do, and we've got to cling on and hope for the best. Is that fair comment, you think?
Well, yeah. Well, he shouldn't think like that, though, because he's had a transfer market.
True.
I see someone that's just said on there, you can't blame the players. Well, they're now Rowett's players. So you can blame Rowett. You can blame Rowett, definitely. Style of play, you blame Rowett. Let's say, for instance, we're playing counter-attack, Scott Malone's running down the line, and then he's sticking it into the box, and someone misses a chance. I mean, everyone misses chances, but surely you're working on that, and you're a championship striker. You should be scoring goals. And if you've been bought by Gary Rowett, and there's players on the bench, for instance, that could finish it, why are we not blaming our manager? I think we blame our players too. The problem is now is football is like a business and like a machine. So what happens now is it's not like you're down on the pitch playing football with your mates and you can do what you want. Every single player is given individual instructions on what to do in a game. And them instructions come from the manager. Yeah. So if, for instance, we used to moan loads. What did we used to moan loads about? About Ryan Woods not pushing forward last season. Well, the reason why... Yeah, I know. Yeah, because he's allowed to do what he wants almost, or his instructions are different. But his instructions were definitely sit back. So that when people say it's the players, it can't be the players because the players are doing what they're told to do. But I just
tell you 100%. You're exactly right in what you're saying as well. You're 100% right. I know you are.
Yeah, I think exactly what.
Sorry, Joe. Good luck, lads. From a Swansea fan, we'll see you from a connection. Cheers, mate. We'll see you Wednesday. We'll have a pint, Joe, on that with me on Wednesday.
Oh, mate.
Sorry,
100%. Yeah, I was going to say exactly what Kenny's just said. We can say exactly that for Ryan Woods. Like, how many times did we say last season he's a better player if he's further up the pitch? But it's like he was being told to sit back by Rowett. Like, all of a sudden he's gone Birmingham this season, and apparently he's been getting really great reviews in the games. And now what's happened with Woods, I feel like a similar thing is happening now this season with Saville. And I noticed it early on. We remember the Saville that would get forward, get into the box, create chances. I don't feel like Saville is getting forward. We might have seen it once or twice, but I don't feel like Saville's getting forward enough. And I can't remember what game it was earlier in the season. I noticed it was like as if he wanted to get forward, but it's like as if he's been told not to go too far up and he's had to stop himself from going forward. And we know that's where he's going to be the best. And that's maybe why we're not seeing the best. Like, I'm not too convinced with his performances this season, but that could be part of the reason, like what's being told to do by Rowett. So
what you're saying is exactly what Kenny said, exactly what I'm saying. It's not the player, it's the player instructions that he's getting given to not go on. Not being convinced by Saville at all.
That's formation as well, Joe, isn't it?
Yeah.
The formation again. So all of a sudden, Rowett's going, well, I've got 3 up front already. Me right wing backs up there, or me left wing backs up there already. I need you two to sit, which is predominantly what Rowett likes to do.
See, this is why I think. Sorry, Joe. This is why I think he doesn't pick Mahoney, because Mahoney won't do the. Mahoney is brilliant. I think he can unlock doors. He won't do the work. And this is also why I'm surprised that Ojo signed for us, because when Ojo says to his agent, "What are Millwall about?" he's going to go, well, you're not going to go and fucking do what you want. You're going to have to track back, sit in, be compact. And that's the player might go, that's not really what I want to. So
which he done none of, by the way, Dan. Huh? Which he done none of, by the way.
Oh, did he not? We'll get on to his performances later, but just going to cover a few comments, by the way. Vinny, I did message you today, mate. Sorry, so anyone that did win a prize in the transfer window live stream, I went away the next day for like 9 days. So I'm going to post all them out tomorrow. Steve Lee's, Bart's not the penalty king we thought he was because he's getting 4. God, I tell you where is this man? What's in this man's mind? Or how fast are his fingers on how many laptops? How many screens does he possess?
He'd give
Steve.
Kieran a run for his money.
I'll tell you what, I'm taking him on pointless with me.
Yeah, Steve's the sort of man you want to game, isn't he?
It's all right. A local pub quiz.
Boys, just thought yesterday was a great day for us. Could have been 3 points, but happy with the draw. Yeah, I was gutted I missed it, and I said it seemed to have everything. Like all sorts was going on. Some of it, obviously, we're not going to discuss, but just want to put a photo up. Oh, not that one. Penalty save we was talking about. You're right, Ken. Look, his hands are going up.
He's got his arms up. Yeah,
his body's low, but his hands are going up right at the fucking death there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then he celebrated with a Werther's original.
Yeah. picked his stick up and got on with his day. Until Billy Mitchell got in to beat him up.
Right, let's move on to it. Mate, some great photos of that. Some great photos. Danny jumping down 3 rows to join in. Let's talk about the equaliser while we're on the subject, because we haven't really touched on it. This man in general, mate, he is on absolute fire. Took to the Championship like a duck to water after winning promotion with Blackpool. Scored in the international break for Northern Ireland. Arsenal player. I think, right, he's from Stevenage. So if he's fully, his parents are Northern Irish, fair enough. But I think he's 19 years old, is he? He could have gone early deciding to play for Northern Ireland. Because he's some player for us, boys. Both took me through your memories of the goal, Joe. We'll start with you.
Oh, mate. I don't know how to put it into words, really. It was, you know what it was? We were right next to the West Brom fans. And you know when they've just scored, and they are proper giving it. And they were singing this song, blah, blah, for about 5 minutes straight. And you know... You know, when we just got that goal 5 minutes after, oh, mate, it just shut them up while they was mid-song. Just turned around going absolutely wild. And that's why I love away days so much, for like things like that, especially when they're buzzing and they ain't there was a little section of them that sung during the game, but places like that, you know, when the rest of the stadium is so quiet and then they get that goal and you just think, oh, for flip's sake. They all start going nuts. It's an absolute killer. So when you get one literally 5 minutes later, oh, mate, there's no better feeling. Whether it's a winner or equaliser, mate, it's just so happy. I think I lost my voice a little bit after. It's just sort of
look at this
slowly coming back.
Look at that.
Yeah, I was literally there right on the edge. So I think Kieran was on the Kieran
to the mark bit at the front.
Yeah, he was sitting on there at one point. I'm like, what are you doing? Kieran was just dancing around on there. Yeah. But no, it was great.
I mean, talk me through it. What do you remember? I can tell you
goal. Yeah, do you know what?
It reminds me of similar to the Matt Smith goal. Didn't Jed put a crossing back in from that exact? I know Pierce headed it back across when we drew 1-1 there a couple of years ago. I'm sure Jed whipped that crossing from pretty much an identical spot. Another assist for him.
Yeah, do you know what? It happened a couple of times. So I don't know what they're doing in training, but they've definitely worked on it where they will really try and get that ball right at the back post, almost to ping it back in. But if, say, for instance, Jake Cooper or Matt Smith misses it, then Jed Wallace is round the back to collect it and then deliver it again. I don't know whether you noticed that, Joe. It happened a few times. Yeah. The goal, I mean, listen, he has risen. I think it was a Kipri. I think he's that Kipri. He's risen above that geezer. Sorry.
He just got the promising equaliser.
Yeah. and it's gone in. And honestly, like you say, Danny jumped 3 stairs. I jumped 2 and then realised there was a gate there and I smashed into the gate. So I just stayed there, just put my hands up. It was brilliant. And him coming in and celebrating with the fans is something really special, you know. Like that means a lot to Millwall. Millwall fans like that.
Like you could see how much it meant to him as well, as us.
I'll share a little story with you, a little insight. When they was in the tunnel at QPR away, Ballard apparently, so I hear, looked at our fans making noise and looked around to another player and went, "Fucking hell."
You're never going to get at Arsenal, are you?
No.
He proper loved it. He looked and went, "Jesus Christ." I don't know, like, he loved it. He loves it, apparently. So people saying we've got a chance of keeping him. Never in a million years.
Do you know what? I think Arsenal can do a lot worse than him right now. I wouldn't be surprised if the way they're going, I wouldn't be surprised if they come calling for him back, honestly.
It'd be our luck, wouldn't it? It'd be our luck.
Yeah. Honestly, I think they could do a lot worse, like the way they've been defending this season.
That's very, very true. And again, look, it's so much information, it's blocked Kenny's head out. Ballard represents Northern Ireland. As his mother was born there, he has represented Northern Ireland under 18 and 21 levels. Called up to the senior team. His mother was born there. I mean, no, that's fine. But I think a lot of players do that, didn't they? Later in their career, if they can't get an England team. I'm not saying he's going to be an England international, but other than probably, along with Jed and Keeftenbeld, in my opinion, been our best player this season.
I think we're really lucky to have him, Dan.
With Ravenback, Cooper and Hutch. No, he's fucking good. You're shaking your head.
Yeah, I haven't been impressed with Cooper since the beginning of this season. But yeah, Ballard is an absolutely different class of defender, and I'd even say to Hutch as well. That Hutch is a great defender, but Danny Ballard is different class. He will comfortably be playing in the Premiership next season.
I was going to say, even with the ball at his feet, when he's got it at the back, he just looks so calm and composed, and he doesn't look. At times, some of our defenders can look a bit shaky, not knowing what to do, but he's calm, composed, patient. Even at the ball at his feet, he ain't afraid to dribble a few yards with it. Wait, look around, wait for that right pass to be picked out, rather than just hoofball what some of our defenders sometimes do.
I tried to think how good he must be in League One, how good he is. Mad Mike says Steve Lees works for Wikipedia. Simon says, great picture you guys have them blown up and framed on the wall at home. Kenny's already planned to take a picture down from his wedding day and replace it, Simon, with that one. And 21 says, have you spoken about Ojo's opportunity yet? No. So 1-1, and then I'm at work getting a Twitter notification saying another chance, another ball into the box. It should have been 2-1. It could have been 2-1. Of course, similar to Jed's in the first half, a short back pass puts Ojo in. He's got to score it, and he's got to score it. What happened after the goal, boys? Take us through, your thoughts going into the final furlong of the game, because the sense I got from the Millwall official Twitter feed was who's going to win that game.
Yeah, I was right in sight of Ojo coming down on the keeper, and the amount of space that he had was you can tell there. Look how much space he's got. He should have finished that easy. He's on his favoured left foot. I don't want to slag him off too much because
don't forget, right? It's his first game.
Yeah.
New team. He's been playing under 23s football. So. But look, this is the thing with footballers in general. I don't want to slag him or Jed off. The one with Jed in the first half, just fucking out. Just put your laces through it.
Definitely.
Yeah. People, just fuck it. Do you know what? If he ballooned it over the bar, I wouldn't mind as much.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? Sometimes you're in that position where you got too much time to think about it, and that's when you end up messing. Even some of the best players do it. Sometimes you'd rather just like a split second to just smash it and in. Like when you've got a bit of time and you're carrying the ball forwards, it does mentally sometimes. Yeah, I don't know, but still, I think he should be scoring. But it happens.
He is very, very lightweight, Ojo. He is very, very lightweight.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I'm talking like Ben Thompson lightweight.
Because Ben Thompson gets stuck in. Are you saying like slight as a player? You're not talking strength on the ball.
I'm talking. He got pushed off the ball so much in that game. and he was not interested at all in challenging for
No,
tackle.
I said that, yeah.
And
It's like he's scared of hurting himself.
Yeah, and you know the little knock where Jed Wallace would knock it, he'd get his foot in and knock it past the player. He would rather pull his foot out. He doesn't want to know.
The problem you've got, I think, I still stand by this. Ken Zahor, as a footballer, had a class, but he just didn't want to know for us, did he?
No.
And maybe Ojo, I'm not tarring him in that brush, but if he's a full-time Millwall player, maybe he's sticking his foot in there. If he's a Liverpool loanee thinking about his next move, he ain't going to risk fucking. I mean, look,
the thing is, though, Dan, he's been with Liverpool for 9 years or whatever it is.
I can't work it out.
He's got to be thinking about his next move, surely.
I think he's 23 or 24. I can't remember.
24, yeah.
Yeah, 24. Like, come on, he's had a few loans. If you're good enough, then at that age, you're in Liverpool's first team squad. So
yeah, but you know what?
I don't think he's got a future there.
The weirdest thing for me is they must, unless they give him like a fucking 10-year contract as a youngster. They must.
I think they're just.
Yeah.
I think they're just latching on to a glimmer of hope, as if he's gonna just have an outstanding season in the Championship.
He was 24. He was 24.
I can't see it. He didn't exactly set the world alight at Cardiff last season, did he? Because if we, it sounds bad, but if we've got him, he can't be that great. But surely, if he was good last season, then I think Cardiff would have gone in for him. And
41 games last season. I think the thing I thought maybe at Cardiff was Harris signed him, and then Harris got sacked, and McCarthy took over. I don't know the exact dynamic around it, but I'm assuming 41 games for Cardiff, 5 goals, 7 assists. He's been at Liverpool since 2011, so 10 years. He's going to get a testimonial. He's been a pro there for 6 years. But why not? They must have. He's got a new contract at some point in that 6 years.
Yeah, that's 2 contracts.
Yeah, if you're Liverpool, you're not, thinking we're going to re-sign him because he might get better.
He was at Rangers. He was at Rangers the other season as well, wasn't he? And my brother-in-law supports.
Yeah.
I spoke to my brother-in-law. He supports Rangers, and I said, what did you think of this Shea Ojo when he was there? And he said, to be fair, I quite liked him. He was a good player for us, but he said he must have severely gone downhill though if he signed for you guys. But I think it's true. Like if he was that great, like Cardiff or someone else would have tried to go back in for him, surely.
I think I've been working for a guy who's a big Liverpool fan. He goes to Liverpool a lot. He knows a lot about Shea Ojo. He said to him, why has he been with Liverpool for so long, etc., etc. And he turned around and he said, you know what? He said, he's a gifted player, but he doesn't have the cutting edge.
Mentality.
Yeah, and he'll have a really good game, and then he'll have a really poor game, and you're like, well, we just signed another Jed Wallace, potentially, sort of thing.
Wingers can be, wingers can be very in and out. We're going to discuss this later. I've not said to you boys, but seen a few articles. I mean, look, in my opinion, he's definitely off, but we'll talk about it in a minute. It's where he could be going. I've seen West Ham and all sorts mentioned, which is worrying. But on reflection, boys, yesterday, I thought we was going to win yesterday because I knew it'd be a good day because I wasn't going. And I was showing Henry this morning, he was gutted because showing Danny jumping down the front. He was like, oh, God. Because he's missed. It all happened to Aaron as well, didn't it? The penalty save, the goal. So he was gutted. But good day. Fair play to everyone that travelled. Good. Big crowd from West Brom. I think 1,500 of us. Did we make good noise as a fan base?
Yeah,
100%, as always.
Yeah.
I think that getting that equaliser just added to it, mate. It was brilliant.
On reflection, then, good day all round, yeah? And I'm going to say I went 4 hours again, was it, Ken?
100%.
Yeah, it was because I stopped for a KFC. So I make sure I have 2 KFCs on away days. One on the way up there and one on the way home.
20 fags.
Yeah, that's it.
Swear 150 times.
Yeah.
And then you come in and go, nice, thank you. Player ratings, boys. I'm gonna ask both of you. To be honest, I thought Connor was coming on, so there's gonna be 3 scores, and I was gonna add it up. So let's go through the team. Balkowski out of 10. Ken?
I think you got. Oh, sorry, go on.
I'd give him a 9. I don't think he didn't do anything wrong yesterday. He didn't do anything wrong at all. He made some really good saves, penalty save. You can't ask any more of a goalkeeper than what he done yesterday.
Was he threatened really other than that?
Yeah, I think he made a couple of saves.
Couple.
I think he made a couple of saves. Yeah.
I see one at the death. He sort of diverted across away from their incoming striker.
He made a couple of saves in the second half. I know that, which were definitely going in. I'd say. I don't think the highlights, to be fair, I think they do us justice more than what they do West Brom, because West Brom had a couple more opportunities which weren't put on the highlights.
Fair enough. By the way, you can watch the whole game back or extended highlights on the EFL app. I'm not sponsored by EFL, by the way. Just want to mention that. Find it quite handy.
Watch the whole game.
You can watch on iPhone. If you download the EFL iFollow app, you can rewatch entire matches for free the next day.
I don't think
back 3. Ballard, because do you know what? Just Joe Ballard out of 10.
I'd give him a 9 as well.
Ken?
Yep, I'll give him a 9.
Well, let's move on to Murray Wallace. Because a few people were saying to me, Murray Wallace.
I'll give him Murray Wallace 9.5.
Really?
I think Murray Wallace, every single time he plays in that centre back role, especially in the centre, and I think especially against with Danny Ballard, he's an absolute unit. He don't do nothing wrong. The only thing he done wrong was in the second half. He missed an opportunity that it was exactly near on the same opportunity against Everton. You know, the goal at Everton he scored.
Yeah,
it was a little bit further out to the left, but he dived and kicked the ball, and it went wide. But it was basically a 1-on-1 with a keeper, wasn't it?
Why is that not on the fucking highlights? That's just weird, then, isn't it? Because someone else did that to me, should have scored, but wasn't on the highlights. So. Your brother Kieran was raving about Mountain Murray. A few people said Murray Wallace man of the match, Joe. Let's not pick your man of the match yet. Danny had a great game.
He was brilliant yesterday. I said at half time, or it might have been full time as well. Everything that's other than the goal, obviously, pretty much everything West Brom threw at us, Mountain Murray was there to clear it up and get it out. So,
what you giving?
Yeah, he's got to get a 9. I'll say 9 as well. We've been very generous here.
Well, 3 players so far, right?
9s, yeah.
Clark's got a 9 and saved the penalty. Ballard's got a 9 and scored the goal. And Murray's actually, at the minute, favourite for MOM. Jakey Cooper. This is where I feel Kenny's ratings will drop.
Yeah, I'm going to give Jake a 6.
Oh, that's fucking harsh.
I don't think he played well at all. I don't think he's played. I know he got the goal at Blackpool, but he's 6'9", putting his head on the ball. You know, he should be scoring goals from set pieces. But I don't think he does. He scares me. He's a Jordan Archer of defence at the moment, and he does.
I'm really sorry. I think Cooper's curse is he's been so consistently good for so long. He goes unnoticed, and now he's having a, he's not being the fucking hero he usually is at the minute. I wouldn't even say he's playing bad.
I think he's got a massive mistake in him. Well, he did, didn't he? Nearly pass back to the keeper, didn't he? Or whatever he did at Blackpool.
My mate suggested they kept kicking the ball off the pitch. He's trying to kick it off.
He's scared. He's starting to scare me. That's what's happening with Jake. It's either the passing or the tackling. He's scaring me.
Oh, that's 6. Oh, fucking hell. Joe, what are you saying for Cooper?
I'd give him a 7. I think 6 might be a bit harsh, but do you know what I thought about him with that game? I don't think he necessarily done anything too bad. I just think Ballard and Wallace were both so good yesterday that I think it kind of shone over Jake Cooper that I didn't really notice him do that much in the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And I
the big argument is, though,
good. We ain't even really noticed Sean Hutchinson's not our fucking best. Our best
No.
defender's not fucking really been about, in my opinion. Our best defender.
The big argument is though is if Hutch is fit on Wednesday night, who do you replace? And I would be saying Cooper immediately. The only reason why I wouldn't say Cooper is because of the Cooper and Hutch relationship. And maybe you'll get more out of Jake Cooper if Hutch is playing. But right now, I would take Cooper out and put Hutch in if Hutch was injured.
I don't think he will be fit, if I'm honest. Only because he's only coming back to training this week. He's back in training tomorrow, apparently. That's what I'm getting from what the club said. That's not the one we were talking about earlier, Ken, by the way, before you start swearing at people.
That is. Millwall FC, very harsh. He likes to give me grief every single week. In fact, I'll start enjoying it. If he wants a signed photo or anything, just tell him to send me a DM.
And someone's agreeing, saying Cooper doesn't look fit to me after all that little injury. After that little injury, especially. I mean, Cooper's someone that always wants to play.
Yeah.
He had that monumental run, didn't he? Saying 100 something ridiculous games straight. And maybe, you always say, when we say, take Cooper out and put Hutch in, people think, why are you slagging them players off? And I said this before a couple of years ago about Jed. They could benefit from that rest at times as well. Do you know what I mean? We've got a big squad, and pretty much everyone's fit, in my mind, at the minute, other than Afobe. So Joe looks like he's had a session at the gym. Well, he's a personal trainer, so
exactly. I only own gym clothes.
You know what you're doing, Joe. You look all the gear and no idea. Right, let's look at my ratings. Now, look, this is a strange one for me, right? Wing backs, Malone and Mitchell. But every time I watch our team warm up, the three centre-halves go off with the right back, whoever that is, whether it's Romeo who's gone now, whether it's Danny McNamara or Billy Mitchell. And they do this formation where the coach knocks the ball up, they all backtrack, one of them heads it or clears it, then they all come back forward. Scott Malone's never even in that. Scott Malone's overshooting, and rightly so. So was it like that yesterday, or was it more Billy Mitchell as a right back and Malone doing what the fuck he wants? Which I'm not criticising Malone for that, by the way.
I think they were actually both quite non-existent, weren't they, in the game?
I'd have to agree, yeah.
I think Billy Mitchell, you wouldn't know that Billy Mitchell was there, and not saying that as slagging him off. I think he just had, like I say, he had a job to do at right back. Yeah. And I think he'd done it relatively well. Malone actually done a lot better as the time went on. And like we said, when we were counter-attacking, he was actually quite pivotal to our counter-attack on a couple of occasions, weren't he? He was
yeah, he always is.
Yeah.
But you're right when you say, Ken, do you agree with that, Joe, as well? Because I always say, if you're more a fullback than a wing-back, if you're a fullback and no one's noticed you're there, really, I think that's a good thing because it means you're not being terrorised by a winger. And
that's what Mitchell done yesterday. Like as Kenny said, I completely agree. He kind of went unnoticed yesterday. I was gonna say you kind of forget he was there, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. And for me, at the end of the day, that's not his position. He's not a right wing back, and I think this is just a very questionable position for us at the minute. This right wing back position until McNamara's fit again. So yeah, it's a tough one. That is it a bad thing that he went unnoticed? It's not like he got absolutely mullered or anything, did he? So
no, he didn't. And actually, I think he had that D'Anger or whatever his name was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a tricky player as well.
Probably be one of his hardest tests this season. Yeah.
I mean, is he young? I know exactly what you're saying, Ken. I agree. If you go unnoticed, a right back, unless you're Luke Shaw, do you know what I mean? You want to go unnoticed a bit, and go about your business. A young pro out of position, playing against a side that are decent. Let's get our ratings because obviously Billy's not going to stay in that position. We know Danny McNamara will come back in once fit. So the next two we're going to talk about are interesting. But Ken, quickly, Scott Malone rating.
I'd give them both a 7.
Yeah, I was going to say that exactly. There you go.
Right. Okay, these next two are very interesting. One, because I think one of them has been our best player this season. And two, I think one of them definitely hasn't, but I thought he might have been. But again, as Joe said earlier, if you're late to the stream, it's not really the player. In our opinion, we don't know. It's the instruction. So let's talk George Saville, boys. A lot of people have been asking about it in the comments. Let's talk about it.
I think the problem is we expect George Saville to be firstly, we expect George Saville to be the same player that he was when he was with us last term. Secondly, I think formation-wise, it kills George Saville. I don't think that we get the best out of him in that. And you could put any other midfielder in that role, but when you've got an attacking midfielder like George Saville, you've got to utilise him. You know, that's like putting Alex Mowat there, and telling him to stay back. You know, it's the same sort of thing, isn't it? We're not getting the benefit out of Saville. One, because he looks like he's not necessarily that interested. I think he is having a bigger input every single game, though.
Yeah.
He seems like he cares to me. He seems like he does care. Like when we beat Blackpool, he's jumping all over Jed. And when the penalty yesterday, he's fucking in the ref's ear. Of course, he's a footballer. He's going to be competitive. I don't think he doesn't care. I think he's just adapting to life under Gary Rowett. Of course, he's come back to the club, Joe, hasn't he? But he didn't play at the club under the manager he is now, or the formation we play now, or the system.
It's completely different coming back. It's a completely different manager that's got completely different thoughts on playing the game, a completely different system. So it's not necessarily his fault that we're not seeing the best of him. And, you know, one thing with this is we keep saying we're crying out for a creative central attacking midfielder. But the problem is we've got that player there in Saville. We could have signed any other creative attacking midfielder. I don't think we're ever going to get the best out of them because of the way Rowett's going to set them up, basically. It's like we're playing two holding central midfielders.
Because when he played before, he was
with Williams, wasn't he?
With Williams,
I think it was Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. You're right. It was, yeah.
So one of them would stay sort of holding, and it gave him the freedom to bomb on.
Especially, I remember like the opposition team used to take goal kicks, go back to like 2018. Morrow and Gregors would split left and right. Teams would try and play out the back, and he'd get high on the edge of the box, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
There you go, yeah.
So again, you know, with Ojo as well, when we've got to sell the club to Ojo, well, we might have been the only club interested. I doubt it. We've got Saville goes. We're going to say Saville come back. He's going to say, "What's it all about?" Maybe players like doing the defensive role, but surely players want to express themselves and fucking bomb on, don't they? And of course, go on, kid, go on.
I think you've got players like Kifton Bell that are happy to do that job, but you've also got players like Saville that are not about that. You know, I do agree. I'm looking at the comments, people saying that, you know, Saville had his best game. I still don't think he does enough, but I would agree that he's had his best game with us since
he's improved game by game.
Yeah.
I think it's with a Cooper situation because we're used to him doing so much better.
Yeah.
If he has this game, we're going, why ain't Saville scoring 2 goals away at Middlesbrough? Why ain't Saville fucking running the game from high up the pitch and pressing and defending from the front?
Guilty of their own success.
Exactly, Joe. Like you with your fucking gym gear on.
All your muscle stuff and that.
Peanut butter everywhere. Kieran says, in my opinion, Kieran says, best game since he's been back. I thought he'd be taking play. Why don't you come on a podcast then, silly bollocks?
That's true. What's he up to?
I can just see it now like that.
Simon's on the red. I'm on the peanut bridge yacht tonight, Simon. I randomly went Goddard's earlier in for pie and mash in Greenwich, and now I'm on the red, on the white. Kieran again. In terms of quick fix, I know. You know, lost his voice. He's definitely lost his thumbs. In terms of quick fix, Billy Mitchell has looked good in that role. You can't ask anymore. Yeah, exactly that. He's playing that position. Maybe he finds that frustrating. Chris Ballard said, need to go 4-4-2 at home. Mad Mike saying that. Kenny's laughing because we're all saying it.
It's not going to happen though, is it?
No. It would be nice. So we're talking about Saville anyway. And what I just said, Ken, you know, I said he likes the bomb on Saville. And you said, and you actually led on to what I was going to say. He's got the perfect midfield partner to do it with, Joe, hasn't he, as well? In Mikael Kieftenbeld, because we know he'll sit
exactly
back 4 and 2 foot people with the shins whenever he feels
Even
like
if you just sort of played more of a diamond formation, like just have Saville a little bit higher up in that number 10, let Kieftenbeld sit. You got the perfect person to do that there. But it seems as if we're just playing with the two sitting central midfielders. But as it's shown in the formation.
Saville out of 10 yesterday? George Saville out of 10 yesterday?
Saville out of 10 yesterday. I don't want to be too harsh. Like, weighing up what we've said.
You give him Billy Mitchell a 7, Malone a 7.
You know, we've been saying he weren't exactly set the world alight yesterday, but it's probably because we're expecting too much of him. But he has grown as each game's gone on. So I'd probably give him a 7, in my opinion.
7, Ken. So what does we know? You know, we know players' roles in the team. I'm not looking to dig at Sam because I was absolutely buzzing when he rejoined the club. We know you say what does for example, Billy Mitchell, Mr. Consistent, can be versatile if need be. What does Malone and Jed bring? They bring out goal threat. What we know, the back three, the goalkeeper. We know Kieftenbeld's going to protect that back three. What did Saville offer to the game yesterday, Ken? What did he actually do well? You say that's what he affected in the 90 minutes. I always say if you're a footballer, you've got to affect a game. That's why Ben Thompson ain't fantastic. He falls over, he kicks the ball off the pitch. But you can always say he did that in that game and affected it in that way.
I think he acted and played like a true centre mid, not a cam. So when he's doing the best of his ability in a position where he doesn't necessarily feel comfortable playing. I feel like he broke up play okay. To be fair, he flew in.
Get rid of that.
He flew in with quite a few tackles. He's not,
yeah,
and that's what I mean by he seems to get more and more interested seems more interested every game he plays. So it's one of them. You sort of have to play him, but if I was again, I'd have Leonard in his place. I wouldn't think twice about it at the moment, based on not on his performance, but on the way that he is expected to play in that formation.
Yeah, exactly. So we're saying, why isn't he scoring the goals he was? Why isn't he pressing high? Because he's being told.
Yeah, definitely.
So Ken out of 10, Saville?
Yeah, I'll give him another sort of unnoticed 7.
He'd take that and all, by the way, unnoticed 7. Let's talk about the man next to him. In my opinion, along with Ballard and Jed, one of our 3 best players so far this season. It's Konbefi. Conceded a penalty. You two said penalty. I said I wasn't sure, but I wasn't there, so I discount my opinion really. Yesterday's game, he gives a bit of kickballer and bite, a bit of grit, Joe, a bit of Millwall-ness, doesn't he? In my opinion. Yeah,
he likes to get stuck in, break up play. Got a bit of a physical presence about him. Prone to a yellow card pretty much every game. Always think he's so close to sending off. But I'd probably say that him and Saville both done a pretty good job yesterday equally. So if I was to give him a score, I'd probably give him a 7 as well. Maybe push towards a 7.58. I don't know. Tricky one.
Yeah, but we'll do 0.5. It's not a problem. It all counts. Could push him in a bronze position. That this MFC 85 said Cooper, Ballard, Muzz, Mitchell, Keith all had a yellow card yesterday. Either his awful ref or our aggression we brought to the game. But that's what I think we
needed that. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah,
I think all four of them yellows, though. All 4 of them yellows, we needed to do that to break up the play. Murray Wallace's tackle, I thought he was going to get a red for that. I thought he was ridiculously late, but do you know what? He had to go in because they were through, and he done that for his team. That's the type of tackle or the type of yellow cards we were picking up yesterday. I don't think it was, meaningless aggression. I think it was quite tactful.
Yeah, tactical.
I think as fans, if we don't pick up a booking, we're asking questions in games, and I'm not even fucking mad.
yeah.
Serious. That's our claim to fame. That's what at times will keep us in this division. Keep bollock and bite. We're not picking up the booking. I'm asking questions. And you said you'd have Leonard in there, Ken. There's going to be a man might say Keith's hero is Herlock. Corned beef Herlock. He's going to get banned, Keith and Bell. I'm sure that's his third, maybe fourth, definitely his third minimum booking. Steve will help us out with that. So there's going to be an opportunity for someone to come in with Saville. I'm not sure that Leonard's the man. Leonard's more of a bomber on like Saville, isn't he? But strength in depth again yesterday. Mahoney didn't get on. Mason Bennett was back on the bench.
You got George Evans there as well. He seems to be a kind of forgotten man, isn't he?
Thank fuck for that.
What?
So I just don't rate him. I just don't rate. No, listen, I don't mind him. I don't mind him to have there as a utility player because he's playing for 3 or 4 positions. But Stevie Morrison, look, an ex-player of the club, loves Keith and Bell. Just wish he'd got him a few years earlier. He'd have been a Millwall hero. I think he'll be reflected on in years to come as like a sort of an impact legend. Keith and Bell.
Another Abdu.
Another Jimmy. Right, let's move on to the front three.
Hang
Ken,
on.
you've written down Smith 10 next to yours, Ken.
You ain't asked him for Clifton Bell,
No, hang on.
Oh, you're not done cold. I've written down 7.
No, I'm going 7.5 for my mate Keith.
Sorry, mate. Oh, do you know what I did? I wrote Joe's 7 in your column, and then Joe says 7.5.
Because I said 7.5.
I transferred it over. There we go.
That's like a Lee Chitty prediction. That was 7.58.
It might be 3-0.
It could be 3-0. It could be 3-0.
We're going to lose 3-0, but I did dream last night it's going to be 1-1. But I'm going to keep the faith we're going to win 3-0 or 1-0 or 2. Well, Chitty messaged me yesterday. I thought it was a dream I had because I was drunk. I won't spoil it for him, but everyone watch Chat and Chit and where he is in the world next week when he does his Chat and Chit. Can you know? Don't spoil it. Right, let's move on to the front three. Let's talk about Shay, for his first name, Shay Ojo, the debutant from Liverpool. We've discussed him quite already in detail. You boys said looks lively, pacey, which is what we need. Good on the counter-attack, lightweight on the ball. Should have possibly, well, in my opinion, looking at a replay, should have definitely scored. Made himself an instant hero in front of the away fans. Joe, what are we saying out of 10 for...
Do you know, we've discussed his performance a bit earlier, but I think as a whole, the whole team performance, I think everyone's got to get a minimum of a 7. So not too much more to say about his performance, but I'm just going to give him a 7 for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is his first game, meeting his new teammates away from home, difficult game. But again, like we say, okay, so that was away. At home, he might get on the ball more and a chance to shine more, but we know we're going to play the same way.
I think he's a sort of player, if he, the more he gets himself on the ball, because I didn't see enough of it first half yesterday, the more he gets the ball at his feet and bombs forward, if he can get a couple goals as well, I think he's going to be a confidence player. If he can hit the ground running, it'll get better and better. But if it doesn't seem to happen, it can take a bit more time.
I mean, I'm pleased he's come in, right? My question to you two, would it, because I've not seen him play, is it not a role that maybe a Bennett or a Mahoney could already be doing?
I was thinking that. You could have Mahoney there. You could have Bennett there. We've got options. We've got options there if they're all fit.
What was in Rowett's thinking, do you think, to go, we'll have him, he's got something different to, I think maybe pace. Ken?
I don't know. Do you know what? It was he reminded me of like a Fred. He looks pacey. He could maybe potentially do something with the ball. But I mean, I wasn't impressed, and I'll say it how I see it on them 90 minutes of one game with Millwall. That his performance wasn't that great in my opinion. However, like you say, it is his first game, and
he's come from Liverpool. If he hasn't got final product, he's been at Liverpool 10 years and he's 24. He ain't ever going to fucking have final product.
He's going to turn out to be that Colombian guy that managed to get No. He ended up, or Brazilian or something. He ended up working a contract with all these different clubs, earning a fortune. He'd never kicked a football in his life. He was always injured. Not saying that. No, I'll move on. Yeah.
I'm starting to think this isn't Kieran. Remember that time we had a fake Pete O'Mara in the chat?
Oh, yeah.
Or Bennett there, but what Ojo has different about him is quality on the ball, dribbling, and a level of pace he has.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said earlier.
Championship experience, I think he has what we lack. Kenny's shaking his head because Kenny's saying he hasn't got a quality on the ball and quality with his final ball.
Bit of pace.
I don't think he's that fast either. I don't think he's that fast. But listen, like I say, 90 minutes of one championship game is definitely not going to define him in my head.
No,
but I definitely think he's a bit lightweight, and there's no way that he can change that in a week. I think that he should have been a lot more authoritative with his finishing or his one-on-one chance, especially being at the level that he's been at for now 9 years. He's been in and around Mo Salah, Firmino, Sane, all these players. You know what I mean? He's obviously training with them people. Yeah. He should be finishing an opportunity like that. I think maybe it was nerves, confidence. You don't know.
Yeah, can have a drink for your voice is going. It's on the way out.
I know. I went to Millwall on Saturday. Huh?
You sound like Zed from Police Academy.
I went Millwall away on Saturday, and then I went to Oxford under-12s on a Sunday morning. So that's me done.
Shout out to your youngest boy who got his first goal, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. We lost 4-1, but he got his first goal.
And you give him man of the match as manager, so don't worry about all the other kids and the parents. Fuck them. I am the real Pete O'Mara. So this guy is actually, I think he's from Northern Ireland. His name is Pete O'Mara. Or he's from Ireland. I could have been insulted in there. Shout out.
That could be either or, though. That could actually be my dad. I don't know.
I couldn't say one without checking. It could be quite offensive, couldn't it? 10. Ojo out of 10. I'm getting a 7 up for what you're giving me back.
I'm gonna give him a 6.5. I'd say he was our second worst player.
Well, yeah, you got Cooper as our worst.
Yeah.
Okay. The main man. The one we all slag off, but we would be fucked without him. Jed Wallace. I've seen some horrendous things in the press over the last couple of days. From the Football League world and other chats saying that, I don't even want to say it, West Ham in January, Newcastle in January. Let's have the chat now. Well, we got Joe wants to watch Celebrity SAS at night, so he can't fucking stay on too long. While we're rating him, Jed Wallace, how did he play? Is he going to stay? That rhymed. Joe?
I think he had a good game. I wouldn't really say set the world alight, but it's weird. It's like we expect so much of him. We expect these massive performances every single game. So I'd probably give him 7.5 maybe for yesterday.
Bear in mind as well, he's put
7.5.
He's put a peach of a crossing, hasn't he, for Ballard?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. So I was going to say 7.5 pushing 8, but I just think same sort of a standard sort of game for him.
Ken?
Yeah,
maybe 8.
I'll tell you what he did do, Joe. He put in a fantastic cross from the right side of the pitch. That's what he done. Do you know why? Because Jed Wallace is at his best when he's down on that byline. Do you know what? Jed Wallace, for me, he's growing on me a little bit. I love him, but
because he's not playing as a striker, is he?
Yeah, exactly. And his passion, he's showing a lot of passion. I was talking to Danny about it right at the beginning of the game. He was the first player to come out of that tunnel when we were ready. Once they'd done like their shaking hands and all that, come straight over to the crowd, and he's already clapping, and he really wants it. And every goal we score, he seems to be sort of engaging more with the fans. At the end of every game, he's engaging more with the fans.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is?
And now this could be business.
Before he goes,
it could be business. look how much the fans love me. If you want to keep me here, then this is what you got to pay. Or it could be, I don't know, all over Twitter, people are going to be saying how great Jeb Wallace is, and I'll get a move that I want. You just don't know. But anyway, go on to the game. He still run his nuts off. He's still got an assist. And again, a pivotal player in our team, I think. So
that's it.
I'll give him an 8.
Lovely. Well, I think he's going to go, and I don't begrudge him at all. I think he's done his time. I think what we've got out of him as a pro, I think he's been fantastic. Gives his all still every week. He said in the press, and don't judge me on what you see, not on what you read. I think I could use that motto as well. By the way, that is me in the group chat. He said it is me. And randomly, by the way, I was working at Chester Races yesterday, and look who I bumped into. There we are. He's Pete, the legend of Pete O'Mara. I've got him up in the VIP, but you're welcome, Pete. Free
and
drink.
Steve Lees. And Steve Lees. Look, there he is.
That's cunt.
Oh.
That's cunt. Hope you mate Chris.
Hold on, what's going on here? We've got Peter O'Mara and Pete O'Mara in this is too much for me.
Yeah, this is getting weird. I couldn't even see my birthday. Well, there's two. You know the song. There's only one Pete O'Mara. We need to change it. There's actually two. Let's move on to the big dog up front, Matteo Smith. Did a job of work yesterday. My mate I spoke to on the phone earlier. He's like my mate Dave, isn't it? And Ali G, my mate Dave. He has to remain anonymous, of course, my mate. But he said he smashed defenders all over the place yesterday, Matt Smith. Ken, I can see you're gleaming to talk about him.
I love him. I can't help it. I love him. And listen, I've argued the toss with probably nearly everyone on our WhatsApp group, haven't I, about Matt Smith.
And I can't help it. I love that.
I know. And I do think that he, don't get me wrong, I was the first person to say, maybe he should have come off, but then he couldn't because of this, blah, blah, blah. But I just think he is a very important player for us. And all these people that have turned around and said, well, he's only an impact player. I think that the last couple of games has proved that he isn't just an impact player. He's played 90 minutes yesterday.
I think it depends who we're playing as well, though.
Yeah, it does, definitely. It's not like he's going to be doing that. He's going to be doing 6 games over the next 21 days, is he? And playing 90 minutes, he's not going to do it. However, in my opinion, I think that he did it. He done a job on it. He done a job on them. He done a job on their strikers and their defenders.
Did either of you two go the West Brom game when he scored a couple of years ago? He did the same.
No, I was away.
No.
He come off the bench that day, and he terrorised them. Hasn't won all these physical battles this season. Charlie Mummery says, "Do you think playing Smith restricts us from playing better football?" We have discussed this. It does restrict us from playing better football, in my opinion, but it suits our style of play better. Do you agree, Joe?
I 100% agree with what he said, but I think for that particular game we're talking about yesterday, he was perfect for that game. He is exactly what we needed for that game. We're not going to be playing great football. Don't often play great football, but you're not going to be playing great football all the time. Sometimes you need to switch things up. You're going to be in more of a physical battle, and a game like that yesterday against top team like West Brom, he's the sort of player you need there. So
yeah, do you know what I was just thinking? Do you know what I was just thinking? He is our plan B, Matt Smith, isn't he? Yesterday he started. So
yesterday he was plan A.
So if that hadn't worked, what would have Rowett done to try and change it? Because he always,
and that's why he stayed on for the full 90.
Yeah, he didn't have anything else. That was it.
Yeah. That popped into my head just then. So if it's not worked out plan B, I'll nick one back, we throw him on, but he's already on. Yeah. So what happens if we're losing there? Does he get bod fast and out of retirement?
Sorry to butt in there, but I said that exact same thing to Connor and Kieran yesterday. Yeah. I said, I'm not trying to slate Matt Smith, but I said, for me, he's not a starter for that reason. Fair enough. Yeah, should have started yesterday. But other games, that's why I say he's not a starter, because if we're chasing a game towards the final 10, 15 minutes, who have you got to come off the bench? But Matt Smith's that sort of man you want coming off the bench in those situations.
I'm just checking. So I was just checking the lineup there. So Matt Smith did play the full 90. The only substitute.
Whereas yesterday we had no other. Who else was you going to bring on?
I think in that situation though, do you know what? I think again we spoke about this, Joe, didn't we? Walking back down to the motors, that you the way that then set up was ideal, and actually a player like Tom Bradshaw would have been the perfect impact player for that game. So
Smith was booked as well, Ken. As well as we know, fitness-wise, he struggles to do 90. He was booked and Bradshaw.
I've got the earphones in. You won't be able to hear.
That's all right.
Wait, let me tell
Here's me, boys.
So Bradshaw wasn't. So Smith must have been having a worldie then to stay on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is what I mean. I think that if any other manager probably would have, say with about 10 minutes to go, hang on a minute, we're counter-attacking here. Matt Smith ain't got the legs to be counter-attacking. Let's stick someone like Bradshaw on. I would have preferred to have had Bradshaw on than Bennett, personally.
Who did Bennett come on for? Because Bennett came on.
Odo, I think. Yeah.
Odo, playing on the left.
Pretty much like for like, yeah.
Right, okay. Yeah, because it did seem like, from what I was getting from the Twitter feed, we was flooding forward. So it might have been to get Bradshaw on the end of something, Ken, a bit of pace towards the end.
Yeah.
I'm still adamant, this is a different chat for a different day. I'm still adamant that if you put balls across the box low for Bradshaw, he'll fucking get on the end of them.
And that's exactly what we were delivering. That was exactly what we were delivering the last 10 minutes of that game.
Right, okay. So out of 10, boys, because Joe's getting a sweat, and I can see he needs to watch SAS. Matt Smith out of 10.
Half hour.
I'm going 8.5.
Yeah. Sorry, Ken.
I'll go 8.5 for Matty Smith.
Yeah, nice.
I agree with that. Bang on. I was even thinking possibly thinking about a 9, but I didn't want to be too generous. But I think I'd say 8.5 is spot on for him.
I mean, every part of Joe's being is like, I'm not giving Matt Smith a 9.
If he got on the score sheet yesterday, I would have given him a 9.
I'll tell you what is interesting, Dan, just before we move on to the other one, is actually we're giving him a very high rating, and I don't think he had a shot on target or a header.
He probably didn't, yeah.
No,
but
I don't think he did.
Millwall players don't get the opportunity to shoot.
Yeah. So the reason is for his performance.
Yeah.
And do you know what, right? Matt Smith isn't really. He isn't the Steve Morrison. He isn't a knockdown. He gets on the end of headers in the box, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He doesn't really win flick-ons. But yesterday, was he backing in and winning flick-ons and making a nuisance of himself?
That is exactly it. Making a nuisance of himself. And I think that's what he got told to do by Mr. Rowett yesterday, and he done his job.
Did he cut his head as well? He had like a neckband on or something.
Yeah, that was quite early on, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Once again, though, making a nuisance of himself. I thought he was brilliant. I love it.
I bet he's had a lane this morning, the big bastard. That's the first time he's played 90 minutes in his life. He's
out of action for 2 weeks now.
His old woman's made him bacon sandwich in bed a lot. The Lions TV man of the match voted for by you two with 18.5 out of 20 is Murray Wallace, and the worst player, mainly due to Kenny, is Jake Cooper, 13 out of 20. So there you go. The award's in the post, Murray. You win this snotty tissue. Well done. Simon Patterson, thanks for your donation, mate. Absolute legend. Appreciate your continued support on the channel. And that's for Matt Smith. I'll split that with you, Matt. Cheers, Simon. Right, boys, we'll try and keep it brief. Sorry, because I'm getting daggers as well about watching Quantum Leap. Let's just have this one more time. Because what a photo. That is such a good photo.
It is a great photo, isn't it?
You've even got Danny in there. I think people are forgetting about that. Look.
Yeah, I cut Danny out because of Kenny's derby.
Do you know what? There though, without the rest of his face, he looks like a young Hitler.
I thought, do you know what I thought? I thought, I hope Danny don't think I've tried to cut him out for any other reason than Kenny's derby sticking in the bottom. Right, boys. So yesterday's result has left us in good stead, in my opinion. Randomly, here comes the league table. It left West Brom top of the shop after Fulham's 1-0 defeat at Blackpool. I know, like, listen, anyone could beat anyone in this division, but that just confused me. Cardiff played today and beat Nottingham Forest. So Cardiff are now, that was Cardiff will be joint top now. In the bottom half, people have been saying it on the thing. Oh, you can't see it. Hang on, let me take that banner away. Now you can see it. Notts Forest are bottom. They lost to Cardiff earlier by 2-1. Who wants to bet me that Chris Hughton gets sacked, Nottingham Forest get a new manager just in time to play us and beat us? But 5 games in, boys. 6 games in. How do we think we're looking? 14th place. We've got to be happy with that as a fan base. Surely. Sorry, I've lost you.
It's difficult, isn't it? It's so difficult.
Yes,
we've won 1, but we've only lost 2 of 6. So we've only lost 1/3 of our games. If we get to the end of the season, losing 1/3 of our games, we're fucking 6 seasons established in the champ.
We always seem to have a bit of a shaky start. We never seem to start off well, and we've been in worse positions than this earlier on in previous seasons. So I think right now you got to be happy with it. Some of the yesterday was good, but some of the performances, like especially against Blackpool where we won, they've not been great performances. So judging on that, I'm not too fazed by that at the minute. I'm happy with that because I think we can, if we start to kick on and improve a bit, then we can push on.
See, I think you're spot on, Joe, and I was thinking that we've had a lot worse starts than that. However, like yesterday, eventually I had to work, but originally I had tickets for a musical. And back in the day, I'd have gone, there's no way I'm missing that. I actually thought, been to West Brom loads. It's so unexciting to go and watch us at the minute. I'm not actually that bothered. Do you know what I mean?
You know, I was originally like that, and I was so close to not going, but then I'm glad I did in the end.
This is actually, in my opinion, 1 win in 6, okay. I know it's early stages in the league table. That's a good start for us, Ken, isn't it? Regardless of whether it's boring or we want to punch Gary Rowe in the face. I don't personally, just get that in. That's a good start, isn't it?
I think what you've done is you've put the stats in a way that would make people.
I didn't make that league table up.
No. But 1/3 of our games we've won. Did you say? No. You said 1/3 of our games.
1/3. So
we've only lost 1, but we've also only won 1/6 of our games.
There you go.
So it's. I don't know. I think you can turn around and look at the Fulham game and go, yeah, do you know what? We should have lost that. It's performances for me. I don't really care about the table. If I go and watch football, if I go and watch my Millwall team put out a performance every Saturday, I'm quite happy. But that's the first time that I've seen us play like that since QPR away. And the problem is so them games in the middle, we haven't really done anything, in my opinion. The same intensity.
I think part of the reason I am sort of happy with our position is not necessarily because we've been good. We've won 1 in 6. To me, that's not good. Hence the reason that we've only won 1 in 6 and we're still where we are. That's the reason I'm happy with.
Yeah, okay.
Can I point this out? We've played West Brom who are top, Fulham who are second, QPR who are fourth, Cardiff who are 8th, Blackburn who are 10th. So in 6 games, we've played 4 of the top 10. I'm not a Gary Rowett fan. I still think he's going to foul. But I'm just trying to look at the other side of the coin here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm really listen, Danny. If for instance we play that type of the way we not that type of football, but the way that we played with the intensity, the breaking up of play, passion that I think that we gave yesterday, and we gave that every single Saturday, I'd be happy. But the problem is you know as well as I do that Swansea, because I don't even think Swansea have won yet, have they? You know that you're going to turn up, you're going to drive to a cold and wet Swansea on Wednesday, and he'll play for a board draw or something. Oh, they have won, yeah, they've won one.
They're the same as us, yeah. So
Yeah.
I just didn't.
And
No,
we're
they're
going
worse than us.
to,
They're worse than us. They've lost 3 of 6.
right, and then we're going to struggle at home against Coventry.
Coventry are in the top 6.
Do you know what
Yeah,
the problem is? I think we are so much better away from home at the minute. I think this whole crowd being a 12th man thing, it's exactly that yesterday. You see an example, like when we're bringing that many to away games like we did yesterday, and we are creating such a great atmosphere, singing all throughout, that carries the players through. Like, for me...
Was it that good?
Yeah, I'd say
yeah,
so.
it was.
Me,
Yeah, really good.
At home at the minute, I don't really look forward to home games as much as I used to. I just think we don't seem to really get up for home games anymore. We can't create really a great atmosphere unless it's a big team in the cup.
Yeah, I agree.
When we're creating this atmosphere at away games, it improves the team performance. It does carry them through.
I think the big problem is
the atmosphere ain't great at home games these days, I don't think. And that's...
But you know why though, Joe? I mean, if you look at how many games we've won in the last 5 years at home, it's not a lot.
No,
you know,
I'd say fucking definitely since Rowett. I'm sure Steve
remembers
that.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So say 3 years.
No, Steve, you've got man of the match. You just took Murray's prize. That's not your issue. Well done. Your stats, the win rate under Rowett at home again. And like you say, Ken, is me and you aren't really bothered about results. We're going to go whether we win or lose. And Joe does as well. Yeah. We just want to go, fuck me, we give it some today. All right, we lost. Yeah. At least we had a go. I wonder what would happen if you actually just tested that. Just go, do you know what, boys? Let's let the shackles off today. Because if we have to score, we've proven we can because we always go 1-0 down.
But Harris done that every single game.
What's that?
Turned around and went, fuck it, let's just give it a goal. Let's see what they've got. We know what we've got. We're going at them. It's not going to be pretty.
Listen, I'd actually have to. I think the opposite with Harris.
Go on.
Because I'll never forget. I said it in you know when we beat Leeds first game after Harris.
Yeah.
Said left.
Adam Barrett.
Barrett. Yeah.
Yeah, Adam Barrett. I said we won that because I'll never forget. I said that we won that because the shackles were finally let off.
Yeah.
You always get that reaction when the manager leaves. The team.
I said about Harris. Harris always set up. He looked at the opposition. He was always too worried about the opposition.
I thought he was really compact defensively, but I don't think he was defensively. Yeah. He didn't let wing backs go out. He liked them to be compact when defending, but I thought it was in their faces. Teams.
I would definitely say with the players that we got, and I know this is a little bit, this is definitely up for debate, but with the players that we've got now, if Neil Harris was our manager, we'd be higher up that table already.
I agree. Joe's not having it.
I don't think so.
I'll tell you what, because we'll definitely play 4-4-2.
1 point per game to get you relegated.
Fair point.
In Coventry home on Saturday, boys. I mean, if you look at the results, so let's just look at this quickly then. QPR, first game of the season. What would you have been happy with? You've been happy with a draw, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Right. This is our problem as we're all sort of not dancing around the fact, but Blackburn at home, 1-1 draw. We're all expecting us to win that, aren't we?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Next up game, Fulham. We're fair to say we're expecting a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cardiff away.
I'm expecting a point out of that.
I would have taken a draw, yeah.
So we're expecting a point out of that, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Blackpool, we won anyway. West Brom, we was all expecting a loss. So at this point in the season, we was expecting an extra 5 points as fans than we've already got. And we are on 6. So as fans, we're expecting us to be on 11 points now.
Yeah.
Which would have put us 7th and 8th. Cardiff are now joint top.
Yeah, but then Dan, that puts us in between the West Brom, Fulham, QPR, Cardiff, and Blackburn Rovers.
But that would put us 7th. Cardiff are now in the top 3 with West Brom and Fulham. So we've actually played 3 of the top 6. I know it's early days in the league, but I'm just throwing things out there. So we're expecting a little bit more as fans. Gary Rowett did say he had a 3-year plan, didn't he? At the end of that third and final year, he expects to make the playoffs. That's next season. So are we on course for that, boys, finally?
I'd say so.
I'd say Gary Rowett's nowhere near being in our team next season. I don't think so.
You don't think
by Christmas?
Yeah, so I've said this all along. I said I honestly, because I'm not putting my judgment based on West Brom. I think West Brom was brilliant. I think Gary Rowett got it spot on yesterday. However, I think his tactics are horrendous, stubborn, and I think his stubbornness will lose him his job, and I think he'll be gone by Christmas.
Do you know what? I think Saturday was a good point. And me and Joe and the other Omars, we're going Swansea on Wednesday. I just got that, I've got a feeling we're going to get turned over Wednesday, and I've got a feeling we're going to go and lose to fucking Coventry, and then the pressure will be on. Do you know what I mean? These points away at big clubs are all good, but as I said, in my opinion, they're a perfect fixture for Rowett. A bigger issue is these, so-called lesser sides, maybe.
Yeah, I'd be more confident if I was a proper betting man, and you said you've either got to pick Coventry or Swansea to get a result out of. I'd be saying Swansea.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Only based on away and home.
And the way that he won't play any different.
Yeah. If he played like I say a 4 at the back at home, I'd feel a lot more confident. But he's not going to. So Gary Rowett has turned our stadium into not a fortress anymore.
No, I think it's been like it a while, to be fair.
Well, it has because of COVID.
Oh no, like even in the Harris days.
Yeah, I know, but you still used to get your numbers. I mean, look at the numbers, Joe. If you look at the stadium numbers, they're probably down from when you'd had a normal season.
Do you know what used to happen? It was like fair enough, even in League One. Not every year, not playing a massive team every time, but it's just 1 or 2 games a season we seem to get up for. Like when we were in the same league as Leeds, you had Charlton, but we're never really going to create that atmosphere every week. But it's been like it for a few years. It's just all the other games. It's just like nobody really cares. You can't even get many songs started these days. Yeah. It's just, I think the atmosphere's really gone downhill recent years.
Yeah, we're not allowed to sing songs. We're too hard. Our fans. We have to sing exactly. We have to sing the same songs. We're not allowed to sing.
Such a stark contrast to like away days like yesterday. It's just like.
Gary Rowett's got to players in. Yeah, we discussed that. Junior Drive, Coventry looking strong. I did say that as well, and
they're doing well.
And they turned us over last season as well, didn't they? They turned us over.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
We need at least 4 points in the next 2.
You take the 3 points at Swansea and a draw at home.
I think we'll get. I think we'll be lucky to get 2 from 2. If I'm honest, or we could get from 2 from 2.
I'd take 3 points from the next 2.
Yeah, take one win, 1 loss. I don't think we're winning either game, if I'm honest. I think we're going to maybe draw at Swansea and lose to Coventry.
I'll tell you where I think you're right. I think we might nick something at Swansea. We might say we get a draw or a win now. We might, if we're lucky, get a draw against Coventry. The big problem is going to be is if Chris Hughton's still in charge and we go away to Nottingham Forest and we don't get nothing.
No, because that's mate. He'll get sacked. Right? He can't last much longer. He even said that today in his interview. He can't last much longer. Yeah. And that's what happened. He'll get dinged. And don't forget, during lockdown we lost there, but we won 3-0 the time before that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, look, present it with Vinny's positivity. 6 points this week. I'm 100% sure. Well, it's on you, Vinny. And if you get it wrong, mate, I'm right. That polo shirt. Right, boys, I'm going to let you go because I've kept you long enough. It's been an hour and 45 minutes. I could literally do this every night, but I'm sure you two got live, so we can't do that. But thanks for joining us, boys. Really appreciate it, Joe, Ken. Thank you, mate, boys.
No problem.
No worries.
And tomorrow is Monday all over again. Lions on loan tomorrow, plus a preview, and there'll be a score predictions out of these handsome bastards sending some score predictions either today or tomorrow. And then we're off to Swansea on Wednesday. Busy week. We've got Swansea, Swansea Wednesday. Saturday commentary, I'm in Leicester in the Cup. So busy week. Lots of content. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Come on, you Lions.
Come on, you Lions. I've got a headache. I can't do it.